The value of this should be obvious. If an employer does not know which of their employees is behind the charge, they cannot retaliate against them. Thus, it is possible to get your employer to comply with the NLRA without incurring any personal risk.
Let's take a look at this from Matt Bruenig. You know, I'm a fan of Matt Bruenig. Matt Bruenig is a pretty cool guy. He's been on the show before. We talked to him about last year about his lawsuit against Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder has now been shellacked in the court system. He is appealing his shellacking, but I think that Matt Bruenig will prevail. You can see our coverage of that on our YouTube channel. He's not done shellacking right-wingers, though. He recently shellacked Mike Bloomberg of billionaire presidential candidate fame, which that was just a really bizarre campaign, dropping like billions of dollars into this campaign that went absolutely nowhere. Really crazy campaign. So Matt Bruenig says that, and this is on, you should check out his Substack, nlrbedge.com. In May of this year, this is Bruenig. Bruenig filed an unfair labor practice charge against Bloomberg LP for maintaining illegal confidentiality, coworker non-solicitation, and customer non-solicitation rules in their standard employment agreements. These rules violated Section 8A1 of the National Labor Relations Act, NLRA, because a reasonable person would read them as prohibiting certain protected activity, including publicizing working conditions, soliciting coworkers to leave for a competitor as part of a broader course of protected activity, and soliciting customers to engage in a solidaristic consumer boycott of the company. Yesterday, I entered into a settlement agreement with Bloomberg LP to rewrite its standard employment agreement in order to make it compliant with the NLRA and to notify all current employees that it would not enforce the offending rules. So that's really cool. The coworker non-solicitation rule was changed so that it does not apply to the solicitation of employees, agents, consultants, or independent contractors, and only to non-NLRA covered officers, executives, and supervisors, right? So here's the relevant language. For a period of 3 years from the date of employee's employment with the company terminates, the employee will not induce or attempt to induce any officer, executive, or supervisor. And then they deleted employee, agent, consultant, or independent contractor of the company from, talking about the company's working conditions. So that's really cool. Basically the rule was too broad is the big thing. Is it made employees sign away their protected rights to talk to each other, to talk to the public, and to talk to other contractors about their working conditions, and to advocate for courses of action to correct those perceived injustices, right? You have a right to do that under the National Labor Relations Act. And so Matt Bruenig says that some of the clauses in the contract that Bloomberg LP had violated the National Labor Relations Act. And so he was able to get a settlement there. The thing that's really unique about this case and interesting, and that Bruenig calls out about the case, is that he says that the most interesting thing about this case to me is that I was able to get these changes to the Bloomberg LP employment contract without ever revealing the identity of the person who I was working for. I accomplished this by filing the charge with myself as the charging party rather than filing it with my client as the charging party. This is allowed under the board regulations, but I don't think many lawyers take advantage of it. The value of this should be obvious. If an employer does not know which of their employees is behind the charge, they cannot retaliate against them. Thus, it is possible to get your employer to comply with the NLRA without incurring any personal risk. Of course, the strategy only really works in cases like this, where it is a challenge to an illegal employer rule or statement, because in other kinds of cases, the identity of the affected employee is necessarily revealed by the allegations. But still, even if it is just for these kinds of cases, being able to offer anonymity, at least during the pre-complaint stage where most cases settle, is quite valuable, and I think more lawyers should do it. So very cool thing that Matt Bruenig did here, and kudos to him for doing that, for, I mean, just going on a right-wing shellacking tour. Matt Bruenig is at the NLRB. So we applaud him for that, and we wish him the best of luck in his continued shellacking of right-wing employers.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.